Hi, it's Chris Titley here. As part of the Sub 11 Uncovered series, I'm joined by Sam Stanley and Bailey Smith, co-founders of Trybe. Good morning to you both.
Good morning, Chris. Thank you for having us in today. It's a great opportunity for me and my co-founder Sam to tell the world about our story.
Awesome. So Trybe, let's go back to the early days, the inception of what it is, and can you talk about the origins of the business?
Right, so me and Sam are freshly graduated out of Brisbane Boys College, and last year around August, we came to find out a lot of our mates were getting haircuts with private barbers, and we were like, well, we don't know any private barbers. So kind of being forward thinking, I was like, well, it's a great chance to kill two birds with one stone and maybe start a business off this and put all these private barbers on a map. So that's how Trybe really came about last year. And since January, I'd say, we've really knuckled down on fleshing out the business and kind of building what we are.
And Bailey, in regards to the opportunity in the market at large, is there a bit of a blueprint from overseas markets about how popular private barbers are?
Yeah, so I'd say the American industry is massive. Private barbers dominate the share of market over there compared to traditional barber shops. So we really look to that to kind of gain basis on what we should be building for. There's a company over there known as The Cut, quite a similar company. So we kind of look to them to gain a lot of inspiration on what we look to do with the company.
And Sam, talking about building a product or getting the market out there to solve this problem, can you talk about day one, how it all worked and what you're building?
Yeah, well, first of all, when Bailey came to me at lunchtime in the schoolyard, we obviously had a lot of chats about it, but then I guess the first thing was kind of getting validation on that idea, and we talked to mentors of ours, older people that have been in business before, and it didn't get shot down, which was a start for us. So I guess after we got all the validation side of things, we originally went to a creative agency. Ended up being a bit of a waste of time for us, to be honest. We never used any of the designs they actually gave us, but that was kind of where the path started. We were originally called Cuts.
Okay, yep, with a Z or an S?
Cuts with a Z. Yep. But that changed probably around January, and we went to a development agency to get our prototypes made of the app, and that's really where stuff started to kick off for us. We were meeting with industry players during that time, and that was actually when the Cuts name kind of got shot down, and then we came up with the name Trybe, which is a more all-inclusive name, I guess.
And in terms of the product you're building, the marketplace, can you talk about the actual product, how it works from a 101 point of view?
Yeah, so there's two apps that we have. We have a barber app and a user app. For the barber side, they have their calendar and their profile, which they're able to build out and customize fully to whatever they want. And for the user side, it's based around a map. So customers agree to buy a map interface, which they can find any of the barbers in their area. They can filter by style, by rating, or just by name of the barber, and they can find a barber that meets their needs, which ultimately is the goal of this when we started this. So yeah.
And Bailey, in regards to the importance of social media, the virality about how barbers can show their work, etc., how important has that been offshore, and how important is that to the Trybe app?
Yeah, that's obviously, barbering is massive on social media. It's a way for them to generate leads and find new clients through posting content that reaches new audiences. So it was always a thought in the back of our mind of how can we facilitate that some way through the app. So having a section for them to upload their work in the app, in their profile, was really beneficial for them because they can show these organic clients who they're dealing with, what type of talent these barbers have. And then off the back of that, early days when it was just schoolyard chat with me and Sammy, he was saying, why don't we start an Instagram account? Why don't we kind of get a place in the industry, learn what these barbers do and don't want? So that's how we came to launch our first Instagram account in August last year, known as BNE Cuts, which we just used to kind of initiate contact with our target audience of private barbers and gain information on what they want and what they don't want, what works for them, what doesn't. And we really kind of just built a position in the community from that. And then from January on, we really started hammering down on social media, making a presence. That's when things really started to pick up with, okay, this is what we are. This is what we're going to do. Before, in school time, it was just kind of an idea, fleshed around a bit. And then it really knuckled down in January. We've started to really pick up. We've done upwards of 500,000 views in the past 3 months with zero spend relatively. that's been really successful for us. One of our key marketing campaigns to get user downloads on the app was interviewing famous faces, so AFL players, Broncos players, whilst they're getting their haircut, as a form of soft marketing to push that Trybe agenda. One video garnered upwards of 230,000 views, I believe,
Right.
with
Wow.
Jasper Fletcher, who's a Lions player.
Yeah.
So yeah, really beneficial for us, and we've found that social media has been absolutely crucial to getting ourselves to where we are today.
And two questions. I'm going to start with you, Bailey, but Sam, you can follow on. But one is about the bells and whistles of the app, how much you want to actually build out the functionality in regards to, we could do lots of things, but then you probably have to refine in terms of time and cost. How's that decision-making been going?
So it is a thorough process. Our scope review for each update that we push, right now we're in a development stage to enable cash payments, which has been a big point of conversation with these barbers.
And Bailey, when it comes to the bells and whistles and the functionality of the app, obviously there's lots of different things you can do, but then when it comes to time and money and obviously user feedback, how do you go around selecting the features that you really, really want?
Yeah, so we've got quite a broad reach of barbers who we're in contact with when building out our updates and whatnot, and especially with software development, there's the world's your oyster with software. You can kind of build whatever you want in the app. So we really do have to refine the wishes and demands of these barbers and kind of try facilitate everyone into one without spending 6 months on development per se. So we work closely with a few barbers in particular. One of them is Caleb Moneycuts. He's been great for us, an ambassador. So we go to him a lot to kind of rebound off what these other barbers are saying and say, hey, do you reckon this would run well for your business? So with that, we'll be in conversation with our key barbers about what they want, what they need. We'll obviously keep our values as to what we think will be best for the product. And then from there on, we will build out our scope docs, talk with our developers, and try get things underway as quick as possible.
And Sam, in terms of the deliverability of the functionality of the app, how have you gone about sort of, oh, well, actually we should really do this feature, but it's really expensive versus like, oh, actually can we do a miniature version of that?
Yeah, well, obviously that's a lot of that's been talking to our development team, and they're really good on telling us kind of what's actually viable, what they can get done price wise. There's no like, we've been completely transparent with, like, we've made a lot of errors along the way. There's no lie there. We originally launched soft launched in April, and there was a lot of problems that we had with the app, but I guess the strength that we have is being able to work with these barbers on such a close level. We're able to bring it to our development team and build quickly. So 2 months later, we had we added 3 big new features, which actually was a hard launch for us and actually got the uptake really going. And I guess talking to barbers more and more, it's been good, and we've been able to get to the development team quickly and start building quick. And that's what the barbers like about us, is that we're very close to them. You know, they feel like a community when they're with us. So.
I asked this with all marketplaces, the chicken and the egg. It's the customers versus the barbers. How do you, Bailey, go about managing that balance?
Yeah, so this is obviously a conversation we had with you prior when we met. The chicken versus the egg topic was one that we had to give a lot of thought as to what efforts we want to put our marketing towards first, barbers or users. And we've found that there's a lot of loyalty and trust in the industry. So as a barber, I'll have my immediate client base who will be almost as a family to me. They'll be with me through thick and thin, you can say. And we've seen some great instances of community coming together in the scene. So we've found that a lot of the time, the clients are with the barber for the barber, not for any external reasons. So as soon as a barber makes a switch to our software, our system, then we find that their whole client base gets pulled through. Now, obviously, Trybe is about bringing new clients to you through this map. It's about helping people find you. So whilst that has been really good for us seeing that pull through of clients, we do look to extend the marketing effort towards organic client downloads. So people being pulled through by their pre-existing barber. So that's where the clips like the interviews with the famous athletes and famous figures really kind of promote finding a barber near you. Because what we've found is a lot of people have downloaded the app and been like, that. So then they'll be able to find that barber, book through him, and it's just another way for these barbers to find organic clients and build their clientele.
Looking forward to the future around awareness. I remember you guys were saying that you went to a barber trade fair, etc. How important are those types of functions? And I suppose if you put the hat on for the next 12 months, where do you want to see the business?
Yeah, so obviously those like the Expo for Barbers back in April, that was actually where we first launched. That's a great spot just to meet the people in the industry and be able to gain more further validation. We were able to talk to barbers there, and that was really where we got a foothold, I guess, in the industry, being able to speak to so many barbers. They gave us our suggestions, and they saw us as what we were, to 18-year-old boys that would actually wanted to do something for them. And I guess that's why they've kind of come to us, and they like us because they know we can build something for them. So these expos have been massive for us. Moving forward, there's a New Zealand expo, and I guess we do plan to move to New Zealand very soon with this. Right now, we're only in Australia, but we are planning to move into the New Zealand market. And then, as well as that, we're looking to eventually move into the female space.
Yeah, just touching on that, Trybe is male only at the moment.
At the moment, Trybe is male only, but we look to extend that further.
And then when it comes to the thinking around being global from day one, you did touch on New Zealand, but what is the mindset around that?
Well, the mindset is we wanted to keep it local, especially when building a marketplace. It's a lot easier to keep it originally local. So it's been a big kind of topic for us is like, do we start with Queensland or are we going for Queensland, New South Wales, Victoria all at the same time? Ultimately, we have put a lot more of our resources into Queensland at the moment, but that hasn't stopped us going for New South Wales and Victoria and start building there. But the truth is we see a big market in New Zealand, and it's very similar to how Australia works in terms of freelance barbers, a very similar dynamic, I guess, in terms of the industry over there. So we think it's a pretty natural move for us to go over there.
If I could just build on top of that. So a lot of these other companies that are pre-established marketplaces, you could say, for freelancers and barbers in America so two of our team went over to America. Sweet. So building on top of that, there's been obviously the conversation of America. America is a massive market for us in the future, we hope, with private barbering obviously being a lot more fleshed out and established over there. So two of our team actually went over to the Connecticut Expo in May, and there we met a lot of the pre-existing marketplaces for private barbers over there. Of course, we have our points of difference, and these marketplaces service different niches and whatnot. But what we found overwhelmingly is that whilst they have came to Australia and tried to crack the Australian market, they just couldn't. It seems that there was a cultural barrier for them. That's what we've heard from them. So that has left quite an untapped market here in Australia for us to really knuckle down on. So whilst we have got our priorities on the east coast of Australia, we are nationwide operating, and it's been really exciting to see. Like, we'll load up the map in the morning and bang, there'll be a dude in Adelaide, bang, there'll be another dude in Melbourne.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Yep. Just on that topic and to finish up about the excitement of being a startup founder, obviously there's some highs and the lows, Sam. Can you give some thoughts around the first year of operation? Obviously being straight out of school is obviously a challenge because there's other people doing different things and some of your mates probably doing different things. But, can you talk about the experience so far?
Yeah, well, obviously, me and Bailey are best mates, first of all. So it's pretty exciting being able to wake up and then just go to work basically with your best mate every morning and, go to these kind of meetings, do podcasts together, which is obviously great. But in terms of just as a startup in general, there's so many ups and downs. There'll be like 1 week you're super energetic, hyped about it, and then the next week can be
raining and glum and dim outside, and you think that's the same feeling.
Exactly. And we've gotten used to it now, and it's just like we realize that that's part of the life, and we love that. It's the thrill of it, I guess.
Yep. And Bailey, from you?
Yeah, couldn't agree more. It is really a game of highs and lows. Like, I'm probably more susceptible to this than Sammy. I'll take things a bit more personally or a bit more emotionally when the smallest thing goes wrong. I'm like, oh no, like I wish that didn't happen. But Sammy's always there to be like, it's not that much, like come on, we'll get over it. And then I'll find myself next week be smiling and excited about the track that we're on and the feedback that we're receiving.
And do you guys get to switch off at all, Sam?
Not really, to be honest. And that that's the thing. We do feel like we sometimes get burnt out. We're just like working day in, day out. Like there's no weekend breaks really. We do There's too much to do for us. Like Bailey, he runs all the social media. I run the operations of the company, having to pay out barbers and whatnot. And it's like you can't have a day off, which is tough. But it's also just the life that we're starting to enjoy. So
Bailey, any secret hobbies, mate?
Secret hobbies. So my secret hobbies included football before this year, but I've actually had to drop a few of my secret hobbies, if you may, to really put more time and effort into this. Yeah, so Sammy's across the table right now motioning at me as a pool cue. So in my house, we have a pool table, and why does that get used throughout the day? Well, me and Sammy will be working at the desk at the office. I say office, but it's a little room in our house. And yeah, that pool table's got some good use. We have tournaments every day to kind of get away from the work, kind of let our minds breathe a bit. But
excellent. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for being part of this podcast and telling the story of Trybe, the early days, the thought process on why the company began, the progress that you've had thus far, with the app and the features and the barber feedback, and also some of that social media success. And I wish you all the best in the future. Thanks so much.
perfect. Thank you very much, Chris.
yeah, appreciate it.